Yeah, absolutely. So, what a lot of people find is that they've got so much busyness going on in their mind all the time that they find it difficult to concentrate on what's actually happening. And while we're too busy thinking in our mind, we're missing everything that's happening right now.
A Kangaroo Fern production.
Welcome
to Gorilla Podcast Fresh Eyes,
the beat that makes you feel good.
a weekly podcast that features interviews with social change leaders or individuals that aims to bring audiences good stories to motivate their own social impact efforts. Now, here's your host.
Hello, Humanista. Welcome to another episode. This is episode 6 on our podcast, Gorilla Podcast Fresh Eyes. And the guest for today, it's gonna be talking about mindfulness. Why is mindfulness is important? He's an author. She's a certified mindfulness instructor. I don't know what's that, so we're gonna discuss with her what is a certified mindfulness instructor. And please welcome Karina Chapman. Hello, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Miko. It's lovely to be here.
Thank you so much. So, first thing, can you tell us about yourself?
Sure. I've had a career in the hairdressing and beauty industry for over 30 years. And of course, that involves talking to a lot of people every day. So I would hear about what their problems were, whether they were able to tackle them or not. And I realised that there's a lot of people that are living either in the past or the future. They're always thinking about things in the past that's happened. They're always thinking about things in the future, you know, whether it's Christmas, weddings coming up, an event coming up, all of that type of thing. But they're not spending any time in the now, which is the present moment. So that's actually a cause of a lot of people's problems, and that's what got me interested in mindfulness.
So I was researching about you. So you're a speaker, and you do speaker and corporate. You are. What is certified mindfulness instructor? That's the first time I heard that. So, and also on your website, you are Soul Journey Adventurer Pathfinder. What is that?
I know. I do all sorts of things.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, so a Soul Journey Adventure Pathfinder is talking about different things, like in my speaking career or in the workshops or in retreats, about being able to embrace change, about, you know, going on a soul journey, which is an adventure. And I just like to show different paths, whether it's about embracing change, about employing mindfulness into your day every day, or whether it's about, you know, letting go of the past so that you can create a better future that you're looking for. So,
Why do you think is mindfulness important in everyday lives?
yeah, absolutely. So what a lot of people find is that they've got so much busyness going on in their mind all the time that they find it difficult to concentrate on what's actually happening. And while we're too busy thinking in our mind, we're missing everything that's happening right now. Because really, even according to quantum physics, right now is the only moment that's happening that's true, that we know of. So if we're missing it by being, you know, in last week's argument with a partner or in next week's event for Christmas or whatever it might be, then we're not actually appreciating and recognising this moment now. So it's about, you know, just quietening yourself and thinking of your breath, or focusing on something that's beautiful that you're walking past, like a flower. Just being in that moment, which clears all of that clutter out of your head. So you just feel a lot more calm, more peaceful and more relaxed when you can practice mindfulness on a daily basis.
What do you think is a lot of people are overthinking?
Absolutely.
So
yeah, and that's what causes a lot of stress, because science even proves that every time we think of a stressful situation that we've been in the past, our body has the same reaction. So we feel that stress, we feel that negative emotion, we feel that sadness or you know, depression or whatever it might be that's attached to that event. So by keep thinking about negative events in our life, we're putting all that stress into our body and hanging on to it. So if we can find a way to let go of thinking of the past and become present and mindful about what's happening around us, then we'll actually feel a lot more peaceful and enjoy every moment much more.
Is there a mindfulness meditation?
Absolutely.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
okay.
fact, there's a lot of them.
Oh,
There's a
all right,
lot,
yeah.
yeah. So it's not like your regular meditation where you would assume that you'd sitting in the dark with your eyes closed, listening to music or listening to someone talk. That's that's one type of meditation. But with the mindfulness meditation, there's several ways. So you could do a walking meditation of mindfulness. So that would be, say you choose to walk in a park. So as you're walking, you would notice the colour of the leaves, the shape of the leaves, the texture of the bark of the trees. You'd notice birds singing and hear different chirps of different birds. You might be going past a creek and hear the water running. So it's about being mindful and hearing what's around you to be fully in that moment. Whereas if you're walking in the park and you're thinking, right, so when I get home, I've got to make a list for what's happening tonight for tea. I've got to go to the grocery store. I've got to, pick the kids up. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. You didn't even notice that you're in the park. So the whole time that you spent in that park walking, you haven't really gotten the full benefit of what you could have had if you had just practiced mindfulness, even feeling like how the ground feels under your feet, how your breathing is. What else can you see around? The wind or, the movement of leaves or trees. So being conscious and really noticing that type of thing is mindfulness in meditation walking. So another way you could do it would be to concentrate on an object. So you might pick a flower or a candle or something like that and just stare at that.
Okay.
And just, practice breathing deeply and really admire what the flame flickering or the petals or the colour of the flower. And any thoughts that come to you, just push it away and then concentrate again onto that one thing. So that's just, a method of clearing your mind. It only takes a few seconds. Or say if you're at work in a busy situation and you might think, well, I can't go for a walk in the park. I can't go and pick a flower. I can't grab a candle. What could I do? So you could just sit quietly for a moment and start breathing deeply. Breathing in through your mouth and out through your nose, and noticing your chest rising, and how good it feels when you release that air out of your lungs. So just a few moments even of deep breathing and concentrating on the breath, concentrating on, is it your chest, is it your abdomen that's rising, is it your shoulders? Can you feel anything different? Did you feel the air coming out of your nose as you breathed out? So little things like that can just take, 30 seconds of your day, can be done wherever you are, and can just calm your mind and refocus you on what it is that you need to be looking at. Yeah.
So you're saying it's a meditation as well.
Yeah.
Is that sort of therapy?
Absolutely, yeah. Mindfulness is definitely used as therapy because a lot of problems nowadays are mental health issues. Too many people thinking too much in their head, or creating a worry about a future event that may or may not happen. And then they just, really can make a lot more stress and, negativity within their bodies. So to be able to release that and get rid of that is definitely therapeutic because, when I practice mindfulness a lot, I really feel just calm and peaceful all the time. I don't feel like, if I'm driving in the traffic even, if someone cuts across in front of me or comes out in front of me or does something, it doesn't really bother me because I'm already present. I was able to see them. I avoided anything happening and we just went on. I wasn't in my head going, oh, why did that guy cut me off? And didn't he know that I was coming up? And, as if you're going to just pull out in front of someone. That type of thing just creates that negative stress. But if I'm already mindful, I saw the guy in time. It might have been inconvenient. I might have had to touch my brakes for a moment, but that's it. So I'm not making a big deal out of a small incident that happens because I'm just staying mindful and thinking everything's fine. I'll just continue on my way instead of, putting out negative thoughts towards someone that might have cut me off. Yeah.
So during your speaking engagement, corporate, or why do you think mindfulness is important to every entrepreneur, like a self-employed business owner?
Yeah. Well, I think the problem with entrepreneurs is we have too many thoughts. We have too many ideas, too many things that could happen, too many possibilities. So sometimes, we're so overwhelmed by all the ideas that we have that we can't focus down on one and move forward. So with a bit of mindfulness practice of clearing out, your head so you can get rid of those ideas, writing them down, so that you can look at it objectively to see what it is that you want to pursue next is much easier than just carrying a whole heap of things around in your head because you can't really move forward, you can't be focused, and you can't actually get stuff done. So a little bit of mindfulness in between, and pulling out all those thoughts out of your head to clear it, then the answer becomes much more clearer when you're not so cluttered. So I do find that it helps you to move forward in business as well.
So what are your tips to them on relation with mindfulness? So
Yeah. I would say definitely it's something to practice every day. And, it does take a while to be able to be that conscious all the time, but it just starts off with noticing a thought that's not helping you. It might be a thought that, next week I'm going to do this, and that might be really stressful or something. So it's once you recognize that you've got that thought, the first step to mindfulness is letting that thought go. And go, you know what? That's not happening now. That's next week. It may or may not happen. What's happening right now? Right now, I'm, sitting in the sun enjoying the day, or sitting in the office and everything's fine, whatever it might be. So it really does make a big difference to help declutter the thoughts that we just don't need and be able to focus on the things that we do want in our life.
is the mindfulness have relation with, they say, self-love?
Absolutely, yeah, because it is definitely a self-love, form of expression, because you're not putting all those negative things into your head, with the worrying thoughts, so what if I'm going into the hospital, and then what if I have a reaction, or what if, they find something worse than what I thought, or what if, all of that sort of thing actually causes a lot of stress and anxiety in our bodies. So if we can just think, whatever is going to happen will happen when it happens. Right now, it's a lovely day. I'm not in that position. I'm doing the best I can for my health, and everything will go as well as it possibly can. And let it go. So you're not continuing to stress, because you could just build that stress level up so much before you even got into hospital. You could almost cause something worse to happen because that's what you're focusing on. So yeah, mindfulness is a really good way to let go of, future or past worries. A lot of times you worry about things that happened in the past. Oh, I wish I didn't do this at that event, or I wish I had done this, or, we can't change that. So what's the point of even having that in our mind? We're just torturing ourselves over something we can't change. So, rather than that, if we say, okay, I can see that this problem in the past is bothering me. What is it that I could learn from that? Next time if I'm in that situation, I'll act differently in this way, or avoid a situation by doing X, Y, Z, so that it doesn't happen again. And just use it as a learning experience rather than something to hang on to that, holds you in the past.
Say, don't worry, be happy.
That's right, exactly.
So
and
what-
be grateful, just grow that gratefulness that, we can walk in the park, we can feed ourselves, we have got shelter. Even the basic things, if you're feeling like, life's really shit at the moment, what have you got to be thankful for? Have you got great friends that are supportive, or a family that help you, or, it's all of that type of thing, and that sort of brings around, into the mindfulness and bringing yourself back to now, going, you know what, I've got a lot of good things in my life. I'm just going to grow gratefulness, and you feel much better. Yeah.
What is happiness?
What is happiness? Well, I think a lot of people think that happiness is something to go and seek externally. And, they'll find it with a new partner, or a new car, or a new house, or a holiday, that's where people are looking for happiness. But unfortunately, those sort of things have short-term happiness. Yes, we enjoy it for the short term, but then once the thing is over, once the car's not new, once we're back from the holiday, that happiness that we think we're going to get from that disappears. So by trying to look externally for happiness, we're never actually going to find something long-lasting. So really where we've got to look for happiness is within, being happy within ourselves, being happy of, actions that we do every day, how we treat other people, whether we're kind to others, if you can be kind to others, do good things for people, then you do feel happy. It is something that, although you're doing something for others, it increases the happiness in your own life and within your own self. So there's a lot of books, of course, out around happiness, and most of them do say that, it's learning to be happy within. It's, not being negative or critical about what you do have, and growing gratitude and thankfulness instead. So they're all kind of quite connected, being mindful, staying present, growing happiness within. If I'm just sitting in the park looking at the trees and, hearing the birds, I'm really happy. And that's, it's free. You know, there's no price to happiness. So, and that's the good thing. Because, you know, if you're going to rely on holidays, cars, etc., it's going to be pretty pricey looking for happiness.
Because some people think you'll be happy because if you have money.
Exactly.
If you have this, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
So, what are your tips to increase your happiness? What make us happy and why?
Yeah. So freedom of choice is a big thing that make people happy. And that's where they get a bit confused with money and happiness. So money is actually an energy of exchange. It's not, you know, the gift to give us happiness. What it is it gives the power of freedom of choice. If we have money, we can choose if we want to work or not. We can choose if we want to go on holidays or not. We can choose if we want a new house or, you know, if we want to give to charity. You know, we've got a lot more freedom of choice. And that's where I think people get confused. They feel that money is an evil thing or money is the focus, but it's only an energy of exchange. So by, you know, having money, it just equals freedom of choice. So if we can work out a way to get freedom of choice in our life, freedom of choice of where we live, where we work, you know, what we eat, all of that type of thing, then that is what really, you know, makes a difference. Yeah.
Sounds interesting. So we're talking about, because I was able to see the workshop a month ago.
Yeah.
So what is the Heights Retreat?
Yeah. So what our focus is there is creating the life that you desire. So figuring out first, you know, what is it that you want? What is holding you back? And how can you move forward? So we address, you know, past traumas and help people release them. We do mindfulness as well. So we did a walking meditation as well as like a walking mindfulness one, as well as one where we just lay and listened to our breath and felt the movement of our chest. We did an action board, which is like a vision board, but we also write in actions of what's our next step. So, okay, here are the things that we've cut out. We've put it onto a sheet. So if everyone doesn't know what a vision board is, it's basically a big sheet with cutouts of everything that you might want, whether it's you know, a check for money in the bank, whether it's a big house, whether it's a car, whether it's a loving relationship, whether it's, you know, good family and friends, whatever that is for you. And then what are your action steps towards that? So what are you going to do then to increase your wealth? Or what are you going to do to find new, you know, quality friends? So things like that. So it just takes it a little bit further. So we get a clear vision first on what it is that we want to draw into our life, and then what are the opportunities that we could take to help make that happen. So we just go that bit further. But of course, if we don't release all our traumas and our past things first, then how can we bring the new in? Because we're hanging on to the old. So that's why we really, to create the life that you really want, we have, you know, a combination of things in there, from trauma release, even compassion exercises to grow compassion towards someone else that you feel angry, you know, with, or, you know, someone that really upsets you in your life or cause you emotional stress, so that can all clear out first before we can start bringing in all the new stuff that's going to help you move forward.
Sounds interesting. So to our audience and listener, so if you're interested, just contact Karina. So how if they're interested to be part of the Heights Retreat,
Yeah.
how they gonna contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is karinachapman.com. So there is a section on there for the retreats, and there's a contact section there. And we also have a website as well, which is heightsretreat.com.au. And you can also contact us there. So either way is, you know, great. Even through Facebook, we've got a Facebook page called Create the Life You Desire. So feel free to come on and friend us there and send us any messages or questions that you might have. We're always happy to have a chat and give you more information.
Any parting word to our audience, our listener?
I would just encourage everyone just to practice a little bit of mindfulness, even just try once a day. You know, just focus on your breath, doing some deep breathing, you know, blocking out the rest of the world and just focusing on yourself, and just, you know, increase self-love, to move forward in life.
Thank you so much for that tips, health and tips. So thank you so much. So this is another episode of Guerrilla Podcast, Fresh Eyes. And I'm very thankful I have Karina Chapman is here, speaker and author. Oh, by the way, so since you're author,
Yes. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah. Before we
That's right, before we go.
What type of book that you created?
Yeah, so I'm actually creating a series. And
Okay.
the series name is The Vixen's Secret Handbook.
Is it a love story?
Well, it's actually kind of an anti-love story,
Oh, okay.
strangely. Yeah. So it's about a woman that becomes single and she just decides that she doesn't want to risk her heart again. She doesn't want to fall in love. But
Okay.
she wants to change her life. She wants to grow self-confidence and she wants to get out and just date for fun and adventure. So she decides that she's going to go online dating and specifically pick men with a deal-breaking flaw so she can't accidentally fall in love with them.
Okay.
So
That's an
so,
interesting
yeah.
story.
So she, and her purpose is to date several men at a time, but being open and honest. So kind of quite opposite to what we normally do. So yeah, so she has, the Secret Handbook, which is a magical book given to her by a woman at a psychic fair. So it helps her with the dating. So if she consults the book and the book glows gold, then she's going to have a good date. But if the book glows red, then she has a disaster date. So it's about her journey, like her soul adventure and journey of going through the dating field to gain self-confidence and empowerment through, putting herself out of her comfort zone.
Sounds interesting. So where do I get it?
Yeah, sure.
How can we get that?
Absolutely. So that's on my website as well,
All right.
karinachapman.com/books. So you can click on there. There's all the links. It's on Amazon, Booktopia, Angus and Roberts. Yeah, plenty of them. So this is the first in the series, Adventure Vixen, it's called. And I'm just in the middle of writing the second one, which will be International Vixen.
That's good, interesting. And aside from that, to our listener and our audience, she also write Hair Secret Bag.
I
Whoa,
did.
what is that one?
Yeah.
This look like different from the Adventure Vixen.
Completely,
Yeah, it's completely different.
That's
so,
right. So that one, so the Adventure Vixen is a fictional book, whereas the Hair Secrets is non-fiction. So I was inspired to write Hair Secrets after I sold my last salon, because of course my background is in hairdressing, and I've also taught hairdressing through TAFE and do short courses at the WEA. So I felt that I kept getting asked the same questions all the time from the women. How do I stop my hair from frizzing? How can I get a style that's going to suit my face shape better? What sort of products are going to work best for me? All that type of thing. So after 30 years of hearing the same questions, I thought, well, why don't I just put it all together and answer them in a book so that I can help others to look good and feel good in between salon visits as well as the day they visit the salon. So it's lots of tips, lots of knowledge on, what colours to choose, what's your skin type, what's your eye tone, all of that. What colours do you wear compared with, how you want your hair, and how can you communicate better with your hairdresser so that you can get the style that you really want. Yeah.
is this book relation to the mindfulness?
No, that's just purely on hair, like how to look and feel good every day. So, yeah, it's to help women to look and feel good between salon visits and have the answers to the problems for their hair every day. Yeah.
Okay, so to our listener and audience, so there's 2 books that Karina wrote. So please hit her website and also in Amazon.
Yep, they're both on Amazon as well and on Booktopia, all good online bookstores. You can find them. Yeah. And they're both available in both ebook and hard copy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Karina.
You're
so thank
welcome.
you for our 6th episode. You're the 6th episode. Yay!
That's exciting.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
a
our
pleasure.
listener for the support and to our audience as well. So thank you. See you next week again for another episode of Guerrilla Podcast Fresh Eyes.
See ya.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and if you want to know more, check out kangaroofern.com.